Yo, what's up with y'all, man? I hope you're doing good. If you're new and you're a fan of the NBA, subscribe to this channel. So let's get straight into it.
Money longer, shut up bros, and keep my eyes in the sky, cause that's where I'm moving. Say they wanna read my mind.
21. That is the amount of playoff appearances that the Spurs have made consecutively. Let's think about this, alright? The last time that the San Antonio Spurs were not in the playoffs, there is a very strong chance that you watching this video right now didn't even exist on the planet Earth yet. I know I didn't. This extremely long and impressive 21-year playoff streak is in serious danger because, first of all, the Spurs suck, which is really weird to say. And also because 93% of the West are legitimately competing for a playoff spot. There is not one team in the West outside of the Phoenix Suns who is not competing for a playoff spot. The Mavs, Clippers, Grizzlies, and the Utah Jazz, I believe, will only get better as the season goes on. And I feel like those four, maybe I should throw in the Rockets, 5 teams are in the same range as the San Antonio Spurs. So San Antonio actually has a real shot at becoming a lottery team this year. Why? Why are the Spurs so unorthodoxly, if that's a word, bad? What is causing this? The loss of the almighty Chris Anderson, DeJounte Murray, Danny Green? I feel like it's a combination of those things. All 3 of those dudes that I just mentioned were key players for the Spurs last year. These guys, Murray, who was injured for this year, Green, who was traded away along with Kawhi, and Anderson, who left in free agency, were defensive studs, and DeJounte Murray out of the 3 was the best. A lot of people may forget and probably haven't even realized that DeJounte Murray was an all-NBA first-team defender, and Danny Green has consistently been known to be one of the most annoying defenders in the league. And that dude Chris Anderson too was extremely versatile on that end as well. These 3 guys, DeJounte, Green, and Kyle Anderson, held down the perimeter. These guys went from DeJounte, Green, and Chris Anderson holding down the perimeter to Patty Mills, Brian Forbes, Marco Bellinelli, and DeMar DeRozan. DeMar really isn't a bad defender, but you know, he ain't nothing special. The loss of those 3 guys of course hurt the Spurs, but the replacements for these guys is just what hurts even more. I feel like a good chunk of us who are trying to indulge and process all this information have never seen anything like this happen ever with the San Antonio Spurs. Weird. Very weird and strange. Greg Popovich is obviously one of the greatest coaches of all time. Is in a really misfortunate situation. He's still a great coach and the system that he runs is still good. But it comes to a certain point to when, how do I say this? I don't know how to say this, so I'm gonna just be blunt. He just simply needs more talented defenders to work with out there. The Spurs' entire identity these last 20-something years has been built upon ball movement and defense. Now, offensively, this team is doing just fine. I have little to no complaints about them at that end of the floor. But defense, great! Good lord! It's like, is that real? Like, this is real life? The Spurs actually suck at defense this year? But at the same time, it's like, Patty Mills, Brian Forbes, they can give effort, but like, it just ain't cutting it. Here's just how bad the Spurs defense has been this year. Take a look at this graphic. Look at this graphic, bro. Look at it. The San Antonio Spurs have only not been ranked as a top 5 defense 4 times these last 21 years. Just 4. And in 3 of those years where they weren't one of the top 5 defenses in the league, they were still top 11, and that's still pretty damn good. But this year, however, they suck. They're at an all-time worst by their standards. 29th in the league is horrible. Defense is supposed to be their bread and butter. Y'all know that the Spurs, as of recent, have never had a really crazy talented offense. They've always been good, they've been great, but never unstoppable. I can't say that for their defense. That defense, though, has always been top-notch and is one of the main reasons why they've been so successful. Without it, they are not the same dominant, consistent team. They aren't the San Antonio Spurs this year. The Spurs do not do this. And their record so far this year backs that up. As in the making of this video, they are 12-14, and that means that they're under 500 in the insane Western Conference. If the Spurs want to at least have a chance at turning things around, from here on out, in this very moment, they have to move on with minimal mistakes made. They can't be out here getting caught slipping by the Phoenix Suns. They can't have no more of that. Or else the streak will be officially broken. Hold on, let's pause for a moment. Is the streak being broken a horrible thing? If we're being honest, it actually might not be. Because, okay, look, do me a favor and look at this roster. Don't look at me, look at this roster. Here it is, okay? I want you to tell me who the hell is going to be the face of this organization and the best player on this team 3, 4, 5 years from now. 9 times out of 10, you are just like me. You're looking, and you're looking. And just like me, you don't see it. And when I say it, I mean that I don't see the next all-time great Spurs, or in fact any top 10 or potential top 10 talent on their roster. So maybe it just is that time for the Spurs. Time to go through the inevitable rebuilding process and scoop up another young talent through this year's draft, of course. Should they though? Should they go through this route? Do you think that they just throw in the towel this year? I am not too sure about that one. But if we're being realistic here, I'd say that sooner than later they're gonna have to go back into the lottery to find that generational talent, or at least something close to that. Timmy D, Tony Parker, and Ginobili were the ones carrying the load for this organization during that 20-year span. And now that they're gone, Kawhi Leonard was expected to do the same. But as we all know, shiz hit the fan and that is no longer a thing anymore. Now that Greg doesn't have a legit superstar or multiple talented perimeter players to work with anymore, I personally could see either one of these two things happening. And depending on which path this team decides to go on, it could either end the infamous streak and end one of the most dominant eras in sports history, or they could just figure out a way to keep it alive for just a little bit longer. But before that, let's hear from the sponsors of this video, athleticcases.com. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys heard about these dudes before, but you know, I know there's a few people who haven't already, and if you're one of those people who haven't, you're about to hear about them right now. Athleticcases.com is a website that allows you to wear your favorite football, basketball, or soccer player on the back of your phone. So if you like Steph Curry, bam, you can have Steph Curry on the back of your phone. If you like LeBron James, like me, bam, you can have the GOAT on here. I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna delete that part. So when you do decide to purchase your brand new phone case through this site right here, make sure to use my promo code Mojo99 for 10% off. So once this video is over, go ahead and check out the description and the comment section for links, and go ahead and do your thing. So anyways, back to the video. Now let's get into one of the possibilities that I came up with. So the Spurs, yeah, as in the making of this video, they are 12-14, and that makes them the 13th seed in the West. The teams that are ahead of them for the 8th spot are the Kings, the Utah Jazz, the T-Wolves, and the Pelicans. The Spurs and Greg Popovich could honestly turn things around in order for them to save their streak and reputation from being hindered. It's gonna be tough, super tough, but it's possible because the Kings and Wolves aren't trustworthy teams just yet. The Pelicans are super suspect, and as of now, the Utah Jazz are inconsistent. In my opinion, the San Antonio Spurs could easily get their stuff together and land the 8th spot in the West, and they could keep this streak and era alive. But hey, if I'm being just completely real here, I don't think that is the best thing for their organization. Flashback. In the 1997 NBA season, Tim Duncan became a San Antonio Spur. He was the best player on that 1999 Spurs championship team. In just his second year in the league, he won a Finals MVP. Perfect timing. Prior to that, the Spurs' future wasn't looking too bright back then, until they sucked for a year due to an injury from their star center David Robinson. Because of that injury, the Spurs were able to receive a lottery pick. Since they were so trash for just just a year, and that is what allowed them to get Tim Duncan and pick up from right where they left off. Okay, I don't know if you've been keeping up or not, but it's all clicking now, and hopefully it is to you. I just realized that the year that they missed out on the playoffs and became a lottery team was the last time that they didn't have a cornerstone star piece on their team. And fast forwarding to now, that is exactly what the Spurs do not have, and they're finding themselves in the exact same position. Okay, well, not the same exact position, alright, my bad. But as of now, they're on pace to not make the playoffs this year, and that puts them in a similar situation back in 1996-97 season. They're on pace to not make the playoffs. They are currently in a very similar situation that they were in back in the 96-97 season. They were franchise player less, or cornerstone player less. They didn't have a superstar, alright? So just like the 96-97 season, they actually might end up missing the playoffs because of that too, and find themselves in the lottery for the first time since 1997. This magnificent era that the Spurs have displayed to the entire world actually may be coming to an end soon. And it's tough to say that because Greg Popovich might be going out sad. But hold on, if you're like me and a logical thinker, this actually may be the best thing to happen for the Spurs' future, depending on how high and well they draft. Because of the draft, they could potentially pick this thing up right where they left off. So to come to a conclusion, I guess, and to answer this video's question, is this really the end of the Spurs era? Yes, more than likely yes, but only momentarily. It's not like these dudes have to start off from complete scratch all over again and rebuild their team. They still have 2 all-stars, an all-NBA defender, point guard in DeJounte Murray, and an unknown rookie in Lonnie Walker, and several good role players as well. They're still going to have an okay team going into the future, but as of now, no, they have to suck because they need to find that 1 star player out of the draft. Superstar, actually, to be that dude for this team in the future. They could be in contention to draft guys like Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett, Bol Bol, and Cameron Reddish, or any of the top college prospects right now. But I don't know, man, because they have to be worse than the Phoenix Suns, the Chicago Bulls, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Brooklyn Nets, and of course the Atlanta Hawks. But as I say that, who knows actually, because they may just find the next diamond in the rough and stud just like they did back in 2011, and they could run this entire thing back within a year. Anyways, this is the end of the video, man. And before I forget, I have to mention the hoodies. At the end of the month, they won't be available anymore. And they probably won't be available ever again. At least not until I start up my clothing website. And to be honest, I don't know when I'm gonna do that. Maybe 3 to 4 years from now. But just know as of now, they won't be available for a minute. So I want you guys who want them, who hasn't got a chance to get them right now, before December 31st gets here. So just for you guys who watch till the end of the video, I'm going to leave a promo code somewhere in the comments and also a link to the hoodie. So I really do appreciate you guys for real, man, for every single thing that you've done for me. But yeah, man, this is the end of the video. Like I said, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and until then, I'll get right with you.
No way, remember back when I couldn't get a play, no home, I ain't have a place to stay, I got to work, made it free the way, told my girl who'd ever thought.